Project Success 101 Trade Preparation. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how you can prepare trade partners to be successful in what we call the Integrated Production Control System. And this will specifically enable you to make sure your trades can really be prepared from a quality and safety standpoint, but also be super successful. So if you want to see how this process works, you've come to the right video. All right, so let's get this going. The Integrated Production Control System is a lean system for how to run your project. And there will be books and clarity coming out for this, so don't brush this off and say, I don't know what that is. This is the way to run projects. And I want to anchor you back to other videos where the foreman and the workers are doing their thing, right? And they're completing their work package in a tacked wagon, which means in a zone in attack time, okay? They need the team, and we've talked about that. They need the plan. They need the resources with the supply chain, so I'll put SC right there. They need the culture or the environment to be successful, and then the training. I've already recorded all of these videos, and now the foreman has all they need. But sometimes people will say, and that's until I show them this, what about safety and quality? What about preparing the trade? Well, okay, I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking. We have got to prepare that trade with what I call the Trade Partner Preparation Process, or TP3, obviously. So what the preparation process looks like is namely this. And I love this pattern. It goes plan, and then build, and then, finish, okay? So there's a couple of meetings in here that I think you'll love. So let's say that this right here is your install date for the trade partner, okay? And you want to make sure that they're off right. Let me work backwards just a little bit here. 3 weeks before you install, you're going to want to do what's called the pre-construction meeting, okay? That's your pre-con meeting. So this is where you, with the trade partner superintendent and trade partner foreman, will read the specs, read the plans, and go through the submittals and receive any of the documents you got earlier on during the buyout, right after the buyout process. And you'll orient the foreman that's going to install the work and make sure that they have what's called I'm going to just call it a visual quality checklist. So I'll just do CL. And this can be on a visual board or whatever you want. But the pre-con is we're going to get on the same page and then leave with clear expectations to install the work. Okay, so back before that time, and I would say at least within 2 weeks of an executed contract. So I'm just going to go write contract up here. This is when you have an executed contract. Within 2 weeks, you want to have what's called the pre-mobilization meeting. And what that is, and this can be an email, it can be a phone call, it can be whatever you want. If it's big enough, it needs to be a meeting. But once you have the buyout process done, and you might even have had a buyout meeting, so I'm just going to put buyout, and you have an executed contract, you basically say to the trade partner, this is what I want before you mobilize to the site, right? 2 weeks after, 3 weeks before, and it gives them this time to go get prepared. This would be for submittals, this would be for quality checklists, safety checklists, quality manuals or quality processes, safety processes, emergency contact numbers, insurance, whatever it is that we need from the trade partner. They have this time to get it done. So the pre-mob is really about setting expectations, okay? And these expectations enable the trade to show up here the right way to orient the foreman and the superintendent. So once that happens and you get the superintendent, the PM, and the foreman for the trade partner in the meeting, and you go through and you set clear expectations, you're going to start work. And so let's say that this period right here from the time you start is like the first thing. I'll just write first right here. This is the first thing that you install. You're going to want to do somewhere in that time, as coordinated in this meeting, you're going to want to do a first in place I've heard people call it initial inspections. I've heard people call it first in place mock-up. I've heard people call it a number of things. But this is where in the first install, the first wagon, the first zone, the first product, the first work package, we go out there and we make sure that the expectations in this visual quality checklist are being met. And then throughout, as the trade is going, let's say that they go through the inspection, everything is good, and then here's the closeout, right? You'll inspect throughout on an ongoing basis. So these are called follow-up inspections, okay? So these aren't meetings, these are, inspections. So follow-up inspection, and then this one right here is called a final inspection. And one of the things that you would initiate a new follow-up inspection for, or actually another pre-construction meeting, is if you had a different foreman, or you're going to a different building, or the scope has changed, right? And then when you finalize that scope, you want to make sure that everything is inspected, punched, completed, all change orders reconciled, everything 100% done. So the reason that this is so important to me is because project engineers, field engineers, PMs and superintendents, they look at their job, they're like, oh, I do schedules. Oh, I do RFIs. No. You plan, build, and finish. So look at this. For the planning stage, right, you're buying out the contractor per the design, you're setting expectations, doing all of the planning, and then making sure that all of that planning is actually cataloged on visuals that the crew can follow, right? And then you're like, okay, let's build it. Okay, well, let's get on the same page for how we're going to build it, create the checklist, and then actually make sure and validate that it's being built properly in the field, okay? And then you're like, okay, let's finish it. Well, let's keep going with our quality expectations and then finish strong until that trade partner is done. Plan, build, finish. Plan, build, finish. That is the method. And the key that I want to mention here is that when you're having these meetings, so let's talk about the pre-mob right away. You will talk about your production plan, you will talk about costs, and most importantly, and I'll write this down, you'll talk about quality and you'll talk about safety in that meeting and set expectations. Then guess what? You're in the pre-con meeting. One of the biggest focuses here is quality, safety, and then obviously your production plan. I'm not sure that cost is going to play too much here, but then these expectations, because quality and safety are really about what is expected, are we doing it? What is expected, are we doing it? These make their way into this visual that I'm talking about. We've got to get to a point in our industry where owners and specs require this. It's not just about the submittals. Oh, here's what we're doing wrong. We require submittals, but the submittals aren't broken out by work package. So the submittals need to be broken out to where each of the work packages for the zones, or at least by the phase, are identified, broken out, and not batched, and that we have these quality checklists or visuals from an installation guide. We've got to get to that point, okay? Then, when we go out to the first in place, we're looking at, yep, you guessed it, quality and safety again. Yeah, we're looking at production, but quality and safety are preeminent, or safety and quality, whatever you want. I don't want to get in trouble by the safety police here. And then throughout, quality manner, safety, right? And then when we're finished, make sure that it's done in a quality manner. So this has been called the quality process. But their safety is so well involved, it's probably the quality and safety process. I call it the trade partner preparation process because it is the way to prepare a trade partner to be successful. If you love this topic and you're getting value, now that we're painting the picture for the system, please like and subscribe to this channel. But I'm telling you, I love this. We're going to put this into a Canva graphic for you. Also, we're going to have lists under each of these for the key considerations. And I want you to know that we work with contractors to set up your systems. We not only will do project support, we can actually be at a position like an assistant super, assistant PM on your project. We can do overall owners rep services, project management services for you. We can help you to create your own internal systems and to create your operations manual. Whatever you need to get this implemented, because it's amazing, please let us know and put us in, because we're ready to go and you deserve it. So in the description below, you'll find this cool stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this. On we go.